Hi, I'm Marika Hahn, and I'm an artist in residence at Mount Sinai, Chelsea. Love to teach watercolor painting, and today I'm going to show you how to deconstruct a painting that I've done. I've done two different tulips, and I think I'm going to show you this one today. Join me. I use Blick liquid watercolors for my work. There's so many kinds of watercolors. Really, you have to try a few things, but liquid watercolors works for me. If you don't have any paint at all, you can use food coloring. I have plastic cups. I have a palette. I'm going to use a number 10 brush for the whole project. I have little tiny detail in here. If you have a good brush, one good brush, you can get just about everything. I've already mixed my colors because I didn't want to spend the time showing you how to mix them. But basically, for this tulip, I'm using red, an orange, and a dark green. You need to get, when you do a watercolor painting, several tones of a color. I could do a whole class on mixing color. But for today, I'm just adding a little water to my palette. So I'm going to have a light version of the colors. It's a lighter red, put a little green and water. So I have a light green. Actually, when I did the painting, I also added some yellow. I added some hot pinks to the red. But I just want to give you a basic idea. And of course, you wouldn't copy anything directly, but you get inspiration from it. What the main thing is, I don't use pencil to lay something down. So I use a very light color to just basically get my shape. If I didn't like that, I could add some water and I could lighten it. So now I'm going to show you again. Get the basic shape. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you're new to watercolor, you're going to be playing with it. You want to use the very lightest color because you don't want to necessarily use the line exactly as you have it. You might decide maybe you want to make it wider. Just want to get a basic shape, and that's pretty good. With watercolor, the colors flow where it's wet. I'm going to do one petal at a time. I don't want the petal to dry because I'm going to want to get what's called a bleed. I'm going to take a slightly darker tone. Now you can see the colors are bleeding. For paper, I use 140 pound, and that's the weight of the paper, watercolor paper. Cold press is bumpy, that's the kind I like. Hot press is smooth. A lot of people like hot press. It's your preference. But I just want you to see how when you lay down a color, the color bleeds. If I put over here on the one that I've done, I have dark coming near the light. If I touch it with dark now, it's all going to bleed. So what I'm going to do is leave a tiny little space that I can fill in later. Right now I just want to get all the colors that are bleeding to do that. I'll probably do half the tulip because we also have some time constraints, but you'll get a lot to learn, and you'll be able to get it. I have a little shadow. Basically, this is called blocking it out. Where I want it to be darker, this is nice and wet here. Just touching it. I'm not even painting it. I'm just touching it and let the color flow. I'm going to move this over a little bit. See, that's why I didn't want to make it too dark. Sometimes it looks nice to just leave a little area of white. Lots of bleeding. Really let your paper get some movement to it with the colors blending. I'm going to put some in here now. A paper that I recommend for my students is Strathmore. It's a number 3 series Strathmore cold press 140 pound. It's a really nice workable paper. For me, the best paper that I use if I have a commission or I just really want something special is Arches paper. It's a lot more expensive. The Strathmore paper is a basic, good paper to use. I recommend it. Let's just put a little color here. You can see that I've put a little bit of orange down. I wanted some different tones. And with liquid watercolors, it is so easy to mix your colors. So it's starting to look like a tulip. If you're adding veins or great detail to a flower, you don't do that until it's dry anyway. Little lines that I've put in were not done until it's completely dry. I'm going to show you about the stem. I have a dark green and I added some water. With a pretty steady hand, you don't want to keep doing this. You want to have one smooth line. Start and go all the way down with your light color. Decide which side has the shadow, and just with the steadiest hand you can, go down one side. You might want a little darker at the bottom. And you'll get a beautiful bleed because the paper is wet. Same thing for the leaf. Put some color on your brush. I'm pressing down, I get a thick line. Lifting up, I get a thin line. Or I can go thin, press, 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 and I get a nice heavy line. I'm going to fill that in a little more. If I touch the red now, it's going to all bleed together. So I'm going to leave just a little space. A few more touches to get a nice bleed. And in about 10 minutes, you have a tulip. So I hope you'll try liquid watercolors. Any kind of watercolors, actually. The whole thing with watercolor is it's light, ethereal, it bleeds, it blends. It's really relaxing to do. And thank you for watching.